33rd President of the United States, the former senator from Missouri had seen the president only twice after their inauguration and had never been alone with him. On Truman's first day in office, Lieutenant General Leslie R. Groves, U.S. Army, went to see him in the Oval Office. Groves headed the Manhattan Project and told Truman he thought he should know that the United States had a new weapon, the most powerful ever developed, called the atomic bomb. It is also known that both Allen Dulles and General Donovan met privately with Truman in the very early days of his presidency. Many believed that Truman was made privy to Operation Galen during one of those meetings. Shortly afterward, in mid-July 1945, Truman met with Stalin in Potsdam, near Berlin. He told the Russian dictator of the atomic bomb. When Stalin showed no surprise, Truman decided this confirmed what Donovan had told him, that J. Edgar Hoover had not been able to keep Russian espionage out of the Manhattan Project. Truman ordered General George C. Marshall to shut off all aid to the Soviet Union. Right then, that afternoon, the OSS, often with the assistance of the Vatican, within days began to send many of the Galens to Argentina. Others were placed in a heavily guarded OSS compound at Kloster Grunau, a former monastery in Schönbrunn, Bavaria, which had been provided by the Vatican. These actions could not have happened without Truman's knowledge and approval. On August 6, 1945, the United States obliterated Hiroshima, Japan, with an atomic bomb. 3 days later, a second atomic bomb obliterated Nagasaki. On September 2, 1945, a formal surrender ceremony was performed in Tokyo Bay, Japan, aboard the battleship USS Missouri. World War II was over. Argentina, which had declared war on the Axis only in March, was one of the victors, although not a single Argentine soldier or sailor had died in the war, and not one bomb or artillery shell had landed on Argentine soil. And now Argentina, as a result of supplying foodstuffs to both sides, was richer than ever. Argentina's role in World War II, however, was by no means over. When, as early as 1942, the most senior members of the Nazi hierarchy, as high as Martin Bormann, generally regarded as second in power only to Hitler and Reichsfuhrer SS Heinrich Himmler, realized the ultimate victory was not nearly as certain as propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels had been telling the German people, they began in great secrecy to implement Operation Phoenix. Phoenix would establish refuges in South America, primarily in Argentina and Paraguay, to which senior Nazis could flee should the Thousand-Year Reich have a life shorter than they hoped. National Socialism could then rise, phoenix-like, from the ashes. Vast sums were sent to Argentina, some through normal banking channels, but most in great secrecy by submarine. The U-boats also carried crates of currency, gold, and diamonds, and other precious stones. Senior SS officers were sent to Argentina, some of them legally, accredited as diplomats, but again most of them secretly infiltrated by submarine, to purchase property where senior Nazis would be safe from Allied retribution. The Allies knew of Operation Phoenix and had tried, without much success, to stop it. Their concern heightened as the war drew to a close. They learned that when Grand Admiral Dönitz issued the cease hostilities order on May 4th, 63 U-boats were at sea. 5 of them were known to have complied with their orders to hoist a black flag and proceed to an Allied port to surrender or to a neutral port to be interned. There was reliable intelligence that an additional 41 U-boats had been scuttled by their crews to prevent the capture of whatever may have been on board. That left at least 17 U-boats unaccounted for. Of particular concern were U-234, U-405, and U-977. They were Type XB U-boats, mine layers, which meant that with no mines aboard, they could carry a great deal of cargo and many passengers for vast distances. There was credible intelligence that when U-234 sailed from Narvik on April 16, 2 weeks before the German capitulation, she had aboard a varied cargo, some of which was either not listed on the manifest at all, or listed under a false description. This included a ton of mail, which of course almost certainly hid currency and diamonds being smuggled. It also included Nazi and Japanese officers,